Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to our today's session on the recent amendments and judicial pronouncements in GST. GST being a very ever-evolving subject, I think it is very apt to keep a session every now and then on GST because as conveyed by, I think some notifications come yesterday also. So every time you check the portal, I think there's some new notification or circular that has come up. So to guide us on the recent amendments, also the judicial pronouncements, and also I think the drive of the Department on Fake Registrations, we will be having a good discussion with CS Sumit Jhunjhunwala. To introduce the speaker officially, I would like to call C. Rishabh Chaudhary, who is the core group member. Rishabh.
Thank you, Purvi. Good evening, everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our faculty for the evening, Sumit Jhunjhunwala. His core expertise is indirect taxation. His professional exposure includes services to corporates, MNCs, governments, entities, and corporates in consultation and assistance. Professional contribution includes delivering lectures in the WRC of ICI, the Chamber of Tax Consultants, study circles of WRC, and Art Trade Association. He's also co-authored books like Booklet on Union Budget Amendment proposed with respect to indirect tax and issues in EPC contracts. And he's been associated with Chairman of Indirect Tax Committee of Chamber of Tax Consultants. I would request Seema ji and Kamat ji to present a moment of on behalf of the study circle.
Thank you.
Which screen is visible? Zoom. I'll start up in a minute. Thank you, Purviji and Junior Study Circle, for inviting me for another session at our very own alma mater, CP Study Circle, from where we have been associated for, I think, 10-15 years or now. Thanks to Rishabh for his kind words of introduction. Friends, today we are not really looking at something of a very legal analysis and all these things. What's happening day to day in our GST? What are recent developments in GST? These developments can range in two forms. One, what are the legal changes? How it affects you? Unless it affects you in a big manner, you're not discussing it. Apart from what have been covered, if you still think, yes, there's some more amendments, some more changes, some more judgments that may be affecting you, which I may not envisage, please feel free to raise the query. I think all our members will be very happy to share views and learn from each other. So, starting the first and foremost thing, the hottest topic under GST. Neither judicial nor legal. So, guidelines for special all India drive against fake registrations. We have been receiving, I think, numerous WhatsApp forwards. ऑफिस में आएंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, ये पावर है, वो करना है, आपको ऐसा करना है, आपको वैसा करना है. First and foremost thing, please read the heading. It's a guideline for special all India drive against fake registrations. What is the government targeting in this drive? We need to be clear on that front. What they have noted several fake registrations which have been obtained by people based on forged documents, such as forged electricity bills, property tax receipts, rent agreements. which are used to take registration. In a way, they have got these perpetrators have got hold of one electricity bill, made changes in the scanned copies of the PDF copies, put an address which is non-existent, put the name which is non-existent, and the physical verification process was never carried out. So even after their default in the hold of the perpetrators of the evaders, when they go to catch the evaders, the address is non-existent. This is what they are trying to target. Additionally, people have taken fake registration under the PAN and Aadhaar of their employees or their lower caste, lower strata people, their workers, who are belonging to economic weaker section, and they have been lured with some financial benefit that I'll give you so and so rupee, give me a copy of your PAN and Aadhaar for eKYC, all this employee verification, this and that. They've even gone to the extent of changing the mobile number linked to the Aadhaar number at the Aadhaar center by taking the person over there, using their thumbprints, because you can't change the mobile number in the Aadhaar database without the person's thumbprints. You're taking them over there, put in a new number, take a new SIM card, and use that and conduct these operations. Based on all these databases, what the government has already collected, from where they have collected, they have got their systems in place, various artificial intelligence systems. There are these parameters put in. Apart from all the system-based information, they also have the human intelligence, local tips that they get, that so-and-so is a fake registration, all this stuff. So from all these places, this is where they are collating the information, trying to get regular normal taxpayers. Just like among 10 crore genuine taxpayers, there may be 10,000 fraudulent persons. So among all those 10 lakh officers who may be going out on drive, on this verification drive, there may be 100 bad officers also who may be trying to extort money. But the intention of this All India special drive is to weed out the fake registrations, that too which are engaged in issuing invoices without actual supplies. People are taking registration for offices just maybe 100, 200 square feet big, having turnover in the range of 100 crores, 200 crores, 500 crores, 1,000 crores. How in any world can you operate from an office which is 100, 200 square feet, like a one cabin, and have such huge turnover? If someone actually finds a novel method, why are we investing in the entire infrastructure? Why कर लेते सब लोग? Specifically, the company has got no history of having grown. Suddenly, one fine day, they come into existence, turnover basically has shot to 500 CR. How? From where? What's the background? Nothing. This is where all this information is popped up by the artificial intelligence systems. इनको system based risk parameters आते हैं सर. वो parameters शायद ऑफिसर के समझ में ना आए, but उनके पास वो parameters से आ गए हैं that check this list of the registration. इनके पास आप जाइए, यहाँ पर physical verification कीजिए. So based on all this data analysis, risk parameters, the GST network system has identified possible fraudulent GST numbers and shared them with the state and central authorities. उनका verification होने वाला है. Apart from that, whatever database has been shared by the GST network system through their own human intelligence system, through the other database, other learnings, whatever they get in the market, that so-and-so area में यहाँ पर पूरा fake registration चल रहा है. So if they get any other intels, they may act on that also. They have got the powers for that. Now, after this verification, after they come, if they find that you are non-existent, you are not carrying on that business, or whatever you are doing is fake, they will block your credits, they will suspend your registration, they will cancel your registration and initiate the recovery action. But this is against fake registrations. As a normal taxpayer, I will always be concerned. कि सर वहां पर आप दाएं से आराम से बोलते हो, टेंशन मत, क्लाइंट को कैसे समझाए, आ गया तब क्या करना है. सिंपल चीजें हैं, very simple things that every taxpayer irrespective whether this drive is on or not, they are required to do basic compliances. What are few basic compliances? Outside your premises, outside your office, you are legally mandated to display your name and GSTN number. Just like a company is required to mention the name, address and the SIN number under Companies Act, वैसे GST में GST number भी mention करना mandatory है. That's one. Second, after your name and GST number mentioned at the main gate, your registration certificate copy also has to be displayed inside office at a prominent place. Maybe reception, maybe the accounts department, anything. But ऐसा नहीं कि गोडाउन में कोने में डाल दिया है. No. At a prominent place where one regularly can go and see that yes, it's displayed. It's a requirement.
One page will be enough, or 3 pages is to display.
Registration certificate one page.
First page.
Yes. Basically giving out the details. So and so. They are not going to the extent of on the nitty-gritties ki amended certificate hai ya nahi hai. Basic thing, your name, registration certificate is there. Giving the details, what is the registered place of business address on the portal, and are you at the same premise or not? Kind of verifying your addresses and details, business details. Now, apart from displaying your certificate, you also need to maintain copies of your regular books of accounts. It's legally mandated by default and GST. You have to maintain the books of accounts. Registration घर पे ले लिया है, काम अलग जगह से कर रहा है, घर पे आएगा बोलेगा यहाँ पे बुक्स नहीं, अरे नहीं वो तो ऑफिस में तो. Why haven't you registered your office? So office additional place of business में registered है. Still at the principal place of business, you are legally required to maintain your books. So this is where we as taxpayers are not completely following the law and then blaming that revenue. ये ऐसा हो रहा है, वैसा हो रहा है. But are we fully compliant in the first place? That's what we need to look. Your basic books of accounts, which will include your sales invoices, purchase invoices, expense invoices, journals, and all these things. Basic things, bank details, and all these things. Very basic things. जो आपके पास by default होना चाहिए. That is what is required to be maintained over there. Your basic proofs, since you're conducting business from a premises, that yes, you are legally entitled to be in that premises. If you're owner of that premise, the ownership documents need not be exactly originals. You may have a copy also. That is absolutely okay. A copy of your ownership documents or your rent agreements or consent letters, something of that sort. That yes, I am legally permitted to be in this premises. 2017, I had taken registration, I had uploaded rent agreement, which was valid for 1 year. They're coming for verification to 2023. So 2023 also, do you have a rent agreement? Are you paying rent or are you paying cash? We'll want to verify. It's a taxable transaction. Okay. Copy of your PAN of the company, copy of PAN and Aadhaar of the signatories could be kept over there. Why? Because when they visit you, the signatories exactly may not be in office. You don't know when they will come. घर पे मेहमान कब आएंगे किसको मालूम? पता है सर? वो कब आएंगे मालूम नहीं है. So I cannot be in office for next 2 months and not go out for work. But I will keep a copy of my PAN and Aadhaar with my employees that yes, if anyone comes, you can show them that he is the authorized signatory. He has gone out for work, but his copies are over here. He's so and so person. And yes, they are accommodating on that front. They have come for physical verification. Copy, original PAN and Aadhaar was not there. Digital copy was shown. Later on, next day, department जाके copy दे दिया. They are okay. They have been okay. Live experience. Verification report has gone through. Live वो attend करके बता दो sir. Now, before, if you are planning to handle that officer in Indian manner, in the session is being recorded, please understand the terminologies. Check the credentials. ये सही में डिपार्टमेंट ऑफिसर है या स्पेशल 26 पार्ट 2 बन रहा है. Okay, check the credential. Nothing wrong. You have every, if you are a genuine taxpayer, you have every right to verify the credentials. You need not be afraid at all. Go with the concept, you are his employee, he is your employee. You are the public, he is the public servant. Have that concept clear in your mind. He is serving you. Need not be rude, aggressive, be polite, sir. Please present your identification. Please present your authorization. Because you also understand there are a lot of people going about conning people, scamming people. So you understand why I'm asking for that. Okay. Now, having shown your basic papers, if that so-called genuine officer is still harassing you and refusing to give a clear report that yes, okay, I've verified everything is okay, and harassing you, that unless until I am getting what I'm expecting, I will be putting a negative report. No need to panic. Any unreasonableness, simplest thing to do, your jurisdictional commissioners or your joint commissioner or the superior officer's email ID, everything is available on the GST sites. GST Mumbai website or Maha GST. Both places it's available. Immediately, if the officer leaves on a sour note, on a bad note, that I'll be passing a negative remark and so you have not presented, you were not here, make a video recording of your entire premise that yes, my name board is there. This is the building which I'm situated in. This is the name board, this is the registration, this is my books of account, these are my documentation. And having presented them to this officer, he has threatened so and so things against me. Send this across to your jurisdictional authority. Immediately. Why? Because it marks your claim of genuineness. He cannot antedate his report. If today, 27th of May, he has come in my premises, his report will only be submitted in the office 27th May evening or 20th morning at least. But 27th afternoon को मैंने mail भेज दिया वहां पर. You have counter evidence with you. Normally, it won't be required because they are also aware. Taxpayers हर जगह CCTV है, ये है, वो है, आप सब कुछ record करते हो. So even we are not expecting that to happen, but still, preserve all those evidences with you. रखो उसको साथ में. Minor things we tend to ignore, but anything on a major harassment, we did not succumb to it at all. These are all, we do not advise anything all to the fake registrations. आपने अपनी मर्जी से fake registration दिया है, अब आप संभालो. These are steps only for genuine taxpayers. Now, with all these things, do we still have some concerns? किसी को mind में और भी कुछ doubt है? सर आके क्या करेगा, कैसे करेगा? Yes.
It's a very typical case of my client. Client has been in the place for last 30 years. His registration is there, GST, VAT, everything is being paid, and he's a regular taxpayer. Now that building where he's located has gone into redevelopment. Being a retailer, he cannot move out of that space. So he's gone into another space. Now in town side, there's a problem with this pagadi system. So nothing you can get on rent because rent, the people where he's moving is already on rent. That person cannot give him a rent agreement. Now he is already moved there. But it paying his taxes, putting GST number, everything is there, but he is not located at the place which is registered in the GST portal. So in that case, what I told him is, since you are not getting this thing efficiently done, the place where you were situated earlier, you put a notice there saying that because of this, I am temporarily shifted to this place and this was my earlier address. Please come and verify there. But on the portal, unfortunately, you will not be able to put in the address. It's fine.
As long as your shifting is for the very minimum period, which will not be the case, less than 30 days. Beyond within 30 days of changing your address, you are mandatorily required to update your address over there. That's one thing. In your case, it's in the redevelopment. Obviously, it will be for a much longer period. For Pagadi, how have you taken the property on Pagadi?
He is not, the friend is accommodated him with his space, but
No problem. Friend has accommodated me, may be charging rent, may not be charging me rent. Okay. The friend can give a consent letter. There will be consent given that yes, I am a legal tenant of this premises. I am already paying rent or so and so things. And you being my friend, I have let you use the premises to conduct your business activity for a temporary period with rent, without rent, whatever it is. If it is with rent, obviously it cannot be with rent since you are under pagdi. You don't have the option to sublease. But without rent, I am allowed you to use this premises. That consent letter will be required. The ownership and NOC, ownership documentation and NOC from the owner of the property, landlord, will also be required. Why not possible, sir?
Because see, what happens is the moment this guy says that he is going to sublease it, then the.
You are not subleasing, that's the point. I am letting you to sit over here and operate.
Immediately the owner can say that now that you don't require that premises, you can give it back.
Allowing you to use along with me. I am already occupying. It's something like today my building has gone into redevelopment. I don't have an office immediately. I requested my sir, आपके office थोड़ी table space मिलेगी. आ जाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. He's already working from there. He has allowed me also
That makes sense.
co-working space. The concept of co-working space.
But building owner won't give you the permit.
So he will give NOC. That will come into play if there is bad blood between the pagadi guy and the landlord. उनके बीच झगड़ा तो क्या करोगे? दूसरी जगह लेनी पड़ेगी भाड़े पे सर.
Entire Mumbai is bad blood. Literally nobody gives.
Because they want them to vacate building मेरा हो जाए.
सर वो नहीं भी आ रहा है आपके पास, आप अपना एड्रेस चेंज का इंटीमेशन तो फाइल कर दो. वो रिजेक्ट करेगा तो क्या होगा? आप बोल तो सकते हो मैंने इंटीमेट किया था. मेरे सिचुएशन के लॉ में कुछ प्रोवाइडेड नहीं है, क्या करूं मैं? एटलीस्ट यू हैव इंटीमेटेड.
They reject the registration or change of address, so what can happen?
Sir, ultimately you will have to approach the High Court. In High Court you will have evidence कि मैंने इंटीमेट किया था. इस सिचुएशन में जब डॉक्यूमेंटेशन नहीं है ना, एक्चुअली आप फिजिकली वेरीफाई कर सकते हो कि वो बंदा पगड़ी पे है. He has allowed me to use his office. He has given a consent letter. उसके पगड़ी के डॉक्यूमेंटेशन उसने दिखा दिए हैं. अब बोलते ओनर से एनओसी, कौन सा लॉ में लिखा ओनर से एनओसी लाना है? There is no legal requirement in GST law to present owner's NOC. It's only the consent letter, and even on GST portal, if you go on the FAQs given for registration, it's only the consent letter from the person who is occupying the premises and ownership proof. Ownership proof में आपका electricity bill, sir, पगड़ी वाले आता है ना electricity bill, property tax receipt if you're having with you. Yes, that is what is required.
See, the officer rejected registration on the grounds that the legal license contains name of 4 joint owners, whereas the electricity bill contains name of only first owner. So is he right in doing so?
No.
Times he has rejected on this ground. What is the best way out after this?
दो वे आउट है सर, उसमें पसंद आपको एक ही आएगा. पहला है ऑफिसर को मिलो.
He's a stupid guy. Forgive me for my language.
So they may be stupid guys, but they understand only one language. सर हो जाता है सर, वो सब करते हैं सर, वैसा कुछ नहीं है. See, it's basically वो नहीं हो रहा है, सुपीरियर अप्रोच करना पड़े, उनको बताना पड़ेगा. This is the fact. The second thing which we really don't like is to make him understand now what is the law. You have to file a petition, जो बहुत costly affair हो जाता है सर, किसी को practically possible नहीं हो पाता है करना. Filing a petition is a big task.
What happens for the interim period? Because the first time when the change of address was applied for and rejected for this reason, which was absolutely an invalid reason, the SSE, the dealer, keeps on receiving goods at the new address because the old address he has discontinued. Invoice contains the new address, whereas the registration contains the old address. Can the
Get
assessing
your
authorities-
invoice under bill to ship to model. Bill to your registered address, ship to your new address. Anyhow, with GST 2B, they are really not going into all those details. Till now, they haven't become so adept and smart that कि आपका amendment किस दिन पे किया था उसके हिसाब से invoice check करो. जिस दिन ऑडिट पे आया उस दिन तो अमेंड हो गया था, वो मैच हुआ था, बस खत्म हो गया। अरे मैच नहीं, उससे पहले पुराना एड्रेस था रिकॉर्ड में। हाँ ठीक है, चलो,
Fortunately,
दैट इज हाउ थिंग्स गो अबाउट. So first of all, legal thing, build to ship to model, sir. That's what is advisable. Build to your registered office, ship to your new office.
So one of the startups that I have, I gave everything. So it was reworked and it was taken under that. So
Was it early 2023 or earlier?
it is what the
First quarter of 22 or 22, sorry, last quarter of 2023 financial year, or prior to that this case?
the shifting or
Your case of this amendment.
this is very recently as last quarter. Sorry.
Last quarter, no? So abhi try karo. Things have changed. They have understood this concept of co-working space.
But
They
this
have been
was-
sensitized.
No, so last quarter I did it once. That got rejected. I did it in about April and May first week. They rejected then again. And now I'll apply it again. So because of this consultation.
A lot of places they have been sensitized, sir, that this is the concept of co-working space. It's absolutely legal. And it's the new norm.
They kind of understood that.
At least we are.
Startups and all that. There only.
See, because we have been making them understand what is this concept of this co-working space. You're like, अरे सर आपने खाली केबिन लगा आपको बैठता तो है नहीं, सर बैठने वाला भी नहीं कोई वहां पर. This is only when I'm required to meet a client, which I cannot do in a cafe or in my home. That's where the company has taken dedicated space. I don't want to be roaming around tables in the co-working space. I've taken dedicated dedicated cabin suite for me and operating from there. That's all. This is only if when I'm required to attend, I'll be attending office. You're working from home. We're happy on that. Yes.
Few of my clients almost same Pagri system. So what has happened is those area that particular premise is inhabitable. But just because the registrations are 1900s ke time pe forefathers, so they never changed. So all the legal documents are of that address. But they have taken additional place of business and reported that in the GST. Now the officer came, it's day before yesterday, many baat hai. So he came to that address, gave a negative report, called and said, "Baad mein jao, tum to ho hi nahi tha, there is no table, no right, etc." I requested this additional place hai, but still he said that no books of accounts were found in the
He's right, sir.
original place of business.
He's right, sir.
So, but what can we do? Because
You had to make your other place, the active place, as the principal place of business.
okay.
ऐसा कहाँ लिखा है कि आरओसी में जो हेड ऑफिस है वो भी यहाँ पे हेड ऑफिस होना चाहिए? कहीं नहीं है सर.
So that means I have to not change the address. But then
You keep your other premise as an additional place. In fact, वो भी अगर वहाँ पर बुक्स नहीं है, कोई नहीं है, तो मत रखो. Understand this concept. If you are trying to match the income tax ROC record with the GST, it's never going to happen. Take a simple case. Companies incorporated in Mumbai direct IPlex. आपने यहाँ पर HO यहाँ पर प्रिंसिपल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस डेजिग्नेट कर दिया है. गुजरात की ब्रांच में क्या करोगे सर? वहां पर प्रिंसिपल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस अलग होता है ना, वहां पर एडिशनल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस अलग होता है ना. क्यों? तो आरओसी रिकॉर्ड से डिफर कर रहा है. So why is it okay in Gujarat? Company incorporated in Gujarat, महाराष्ट्र में मैं ऑफिस को देता हूँ ना. So it really has no relevance at all.
उसी एड्रेस और ये एड्रेस
Absolutely could be very different.
उसी का एडिशनल प्लेस भी डालना पड़ेगा फिर.
Not expert in ROC में.
No, so in this case, what happens if the officer gives a negative report and the officer says, "I won't do anything," then what happens?
that's what
There will be a cancellation of registration. You will be filing a revocation application or an appeal against that. The first appellate officer is also going to reject that, and then you will be approaching the tribunal or the high court.
So what happens is now because of such old regulations, IC, import, export code, everything gets affected.
So let it be. Let it be.
Now the moment they find ICs on different address, they don't
So
even allow.
we need to update it then. Sir, our lethargy cannot be an excuse that you are not doing your work properly. He has come for verification at your registered principal place of business. Was he wrong? No. So it's our fault that we need to rectify. And this is where all the human intent comes into play. कि मालूम है इस बिल्डिंग में पूरा पगड़ी वाले ये इनहैबिटेबल है, फिर भी यहाँ पर एड्रेस दिख रहा है, जाओ सबको वेरीफाई लिखा. क्यों? सर आज आप कल अगर आपने तो फिर भी एडिशनल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस डाला है, किसी और ने नहीं किया होगा चेंज, तो उसका नंबर कैंसिल होगा, आपका कैंसिल नहीं होगा. दे विल आर्ग्यू आर्टिकल 14 अनइक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्ट है ये. So he has to be same for everyone. This is where the basic things are to be done at a place of business.
Whatever in the head office, we just give a copy of accounts. But we can say that the entire back office operations accounts are kept at the additional place. So you can visit there, but please visit my addition. That can be done. Sir. Okay.
Whatever basic books of accounts you're required to maintain as with GST, a copy is maintained, fine enough.
Okay.
It's fine enough. And they really don't, if it's available over there, they really don't bother that much on that. Because they've got much more on their plate. उनके पास बहुत अभी फिलहाल काम है सर, बहुत लोग दरवाजे खटखटाना है.
इसके लिए ही went back because काम बहुत लोगों ने छोड़ना है. Books ही नहीं है, why should I bother? Because it took only 2 minutes, sir. Only 2 minutes. He came, he saw everything, he contacted the principal owner. उन्होंने मुझे कॉल किया and बस that's it, खत्म. Audit खत्म आपका. मेरा बुक्स ही नहीं है इधर, मैं क्या चेक करूं?
सर जैसे आप वो वीडियो बना सीसीटीवी बनाना, वो भी वीडियो को रिकॉर्ड करके रखते हैं एविडेंस में. जब केस फाइल का तो नहीं, इसने प्रॉपर वेरिफिकेशन नहीं किया है, उनके पास वीडियो देता है पूरा.
रखते हैं
पूरा रखते हैं.
कुछ मैंडेट कर दिया ना, तो when they have to wear the cameras. वो कुछ मैंडेट किया है.
सर you have to wear cameras or you have to also switch on the camera.
Technical.
Private limited company having only office premises.
Yes.
Very registered office here.
हाँ.
And they have given that entire premises on the rental.
हम्म.
So nothing else in the company. उसका registered office भी हुई है, GST number भी वहीं पर है, और नया भाड़े वाला आ गया, उसका भी registration number उधर है. He goes, suppose, so there is nobody from that company will be available there.
Why not, sir?
कोई कंपनी वाला तो बैठता ही नहीं ना.
कंपनी नहीं बैठता, आप अपने टेनेंट को डेजिग्नेट कर दो एज ऑथराइज्ड पर्सन.
बोलेगा मैं क्यों?
अपने आदमी बिठाओ सर.
हाँ.
There is a catch in that, correct?
कुछ ना कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना सर. बस बाहर बिठाओ, मुझे मैन पावर कॉस्ट भी सेव करना, सब कुछ करना है सर. लास्ट में फिर आपको हमको फिर प्रोफेशनल फीस दो केसेस फाइट करने के लिए. कहीं ना कहीं तो खर्चा करना पड़ेगा सर.
This is the better option.
वो तो वैसे ही बाय डिफॉल्ट आएगा सर. नो मैटर, आदमी बिठाने के बाद भी आ जाएगा वो.
But the scenario is if that private limited has got only one business of renting the place and is filing GST return on that I have given the thing on rent and I'm getting rent. Why he needs to book it there? Because the whole place is rented out and he's filing returns.
No, which law exempts you from maintaining books at that place, sir?
It doesn't exempt.
It doesn't exempt you. आपने अपना ऑफिस दिया है रेंट पे, that is one story.
बोलेगा किससे करता हूँ तो नहीं चलता है.
Sir, violation of Companies Act because the Companies Act requires you to maintain certain statutory books
Yes.
of accounts in your registered office.
Yes.
Now you may have a 10 by 10 का small room or a 10 by 5 का small room. But you will need something, you know, to prove.
सर 10 इंच by 10 इंच का खाली थप्पी रखा हुआ पेपर्स का, बस ये पेपर ऐसे खाली रखे हुए एक के ऊपर एक, ठीक है. इनवॉइसेस टांग दिया सर यहाँ पर. How much space does it take to display registration certificate and put your sales invoices over here? Purchase तो वैसे भी कुछ नहीं इनका. अरे सर उतना क्यों, बिल्डिंग के वॉचमैन को बोलोगे तो वो भी हैंडल कर देगा सर. देखो so if you ever visited a lot of multinationals at the reception, you'll find a lot of files being kept over there. PF laws, ESI laws, women safety, ये वो पूरा पढ़ता कोई नहीं है सर, कभी अपडेट नहीं होता, लेकिन रखना जरूरी है. हमने रख दिया, कंप्लायंस कर दिया है, बस. कभी वेरिफिकेशन कुछ नहीं होगा सर. मल्टीनेशनल का नॉर्म्स है, यहाँ पर ये होना चाहिए. Someone wants to see who's in the women safety committee, the name should be there available if one wants to see. That's the simple thing.
Plain paper considered. They are wanting a stamp paper.
Not a legal requirement, but why they are asking. So एक plain paper पे आप मुझे बोलो किसका बनाना है, 2 मिनट बन जाता है. टाइम मारो, किसको मालूम पड़ता है किसका है वो. And notarized भी नहीं, they will go for next extent. Registered notary, serial number होना चाहिए उस पे. Because सीरियल नंबर के लिए उस पर्सन को वहां पर जाना पड़ता है फिजिकली। बाकी नोटरी मालूम है, प्रैक्टिकल उनको मालूम है कि ऐसे हो जा रहा है। दिस इज वेयर दे आर इंसिस्टिंग फॉर ऑल दीस थिंग्स। एक रीजन उनके पीछे नहीं लिखा हुआ, ठीक है सर, उनका रीजंस है। Do we have reasons for not preparing a rent agreement? You can fight on that ground. They will be quoting you section 55 of Maharashtra Rent Control Act 1955. Every leave and license agreement in the state of Maharashtra needs to be registered under Registration Act 1908. But they will never read section 18 of Registration Act 1908 that any leave and license agreement less than 12 months is optional to register. नहीं देख करेंगे सर, उनका एक ही जवाब है सर, वी हैव गॉट दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन, वी आर फॉलोइंग दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन। आपको जो बोलना है आपसे बोलो जाके, डोंट पुट इट बिफोर मी।
एग्रीमेंट 11 मंथ से ज्यादा है तो रजिस्टर करना ही है
Mandate.
12 months से ज्यादा है, 12 month is more. Yes. See, there are a lot of things happening. Company has purchased a property, बाकी सारे ग्रुप एंड सब्सिडरीज को सबको ऐसे दे देते हैं। कंसिडरेट लेटर नहीं चला है, 500 स्टैम्प पे मंगाओ, बना दो, ऐसे दे दो। So it should be, there should be a rent charged to all those companies. There should be GST paid. गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू चाहता है मैडम, दिस इज द रीजन क्यों मांग रहे हैं।
Similar case can be used for 2-3 registration.
Yes, absolutely. मालूम है सर, इसलिए तो बोला अलाउड है। एक एड्रेस पर 2 बिजनेस कैसे हो सकते हैं? कैसे हो सकते हैं? आके देख लो, आके देख लो कैसे हो सकते हैं। उनको बोलना पड़ता, आके देख लो कैसे हो सकते हैं।
Maybe your similar partner is there and in that unit of in the director also.
Simply take a case of a developer. For every project they form a new company, new partnership firm, and office एक ही रहेगा उनका। Yes. Take them to task, sir. Take them to task. Commissioner बस अपील फाइल करो, complaint फाइल करो। Where is this such kind of guideline? Despite having all the requisite documents as per your requirement, not as per my requirement, as per your requirement, it is there. Registered leave and license सब कुछ है, उसके बाद क्यों नहीं दे रहे? फॉलो अप करो सर, सेंट्रल सीपी ग्राम में डालो, एक बार सीपी ग्राम में डालो सर, इसका इफेक्ट देखो क्या होता है।
उनका एक्शन एकदम परफेक्ट है, तो 9 का
How much merits you have in your case will make a difference. According to you,
Same department officer has written on an order that yes, this panel is there out to force.
चलो सर फाइल करो, फॉलोअप्स करो, आएगा।
Still today CP Gram.
नहीं, यहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम क्या है, उस ऑफिसर की गलती है या हिस्टोरिकल कुछ इश्यू है? यहाँ पर हम बात करें उस ऑफिसर की तकलीफ है। He can be personally be held accountable. That's the point. See, the PMO also needs someone to be holding accountable. तुम ये कर क्यों नहीं रहे हो? If he is able to play around, this is not in my hands. ये ऐसा है, वैसा है. So वो भी ultimate bureaucracy है, sir. That's the thing.
CP Gram में ऐसा हो रहा है कि CP Gram ने एप्लीकेशन डाली, ऑफिस में सब क्लियर कर दिया, उसका पूरा मैंने बेंगलुरु भेज दिया। प्रॉब्लम वो बोले
बैंगलोर IT इनकम टैक्स का बोल रहे हैं।
से जाता है, ऑफिसर के पास मिल जाता है, मिलके करना पड़ता है थोड़ा।
See, why they asking for the table number कि आज उस बिल्डिंग में आके आपको कैसे ढूंढूं मैं? understand his predicament. उस बिल्डिंग मुझे कभी भी सर्च पे आना अनअनाउंस्ड आना है, हाउ शुड आई कम, वेयर शुड आई कम? वो बिल्डिंग पूछते हुए सुमित झुंझुनवाला है, आप सुमित हो, आप सुमित हो, आप सुमित हो, हाउ शुड ही गो अबाउट? See, is it even your place of business a temporary table taken for the day? That's why I mentioned a cabin, a suite that has been dedicated to you. That's the difference. आपने एक टेबल ले लिया, इट्स लाइक मैं रेलवे स्टेशन में यहाँ पर बेंच पे बैठ के काम को बोला मुझे बेंच का रजिस्ट्रेशन चाहिए यहाँ पर, आप यहाँ पर रहने वाले नहीं कल सुबह. That's how things are. What's your permanence at that location? Tomorrow you don't want to be in that co-working space, you will shift to another company. Registration यहाँ पर है.
Put the table number. Next morning, we are not seated over there. If she is not there, or maybe.
Sir, rent agreement भी आप कभी भी कैंसिल कर सकते हो, but at least permanency है तो सही ऑन पेपर. टेबल में तो दिन के लिए असाइन होता है खाली. It's assigned only for the day. But if you're taking a entire suite, at least it's assigned for the week, a month, and thereafter you have to terminate that co-working agreement by giving a notice. For a table space, she doesn't have to give any notice for termination to the co-working company.
Working over there, I'm using that space only. I've given table number also on my registration. The next morning, I have not allotted that table particularly. I'm seated next on the next table or where somewhere.
Due to some issues, you were allotted a different table.
And that particular day they come for a search. How they will find out me? How they will get this? Whatever.
Practically now, in that situation, basically they're supposed to contact the reception. The reception will tell that for so and so unavoidable reasons, for force majeure reason, this person is now contactable at so and so location due to our internal arrangements. It's what is supposed to be done. That is how things are really supposed to go about. Forget department officer, imagine the courier person coming. ये वहां पर देना आप हो ही नहीं, आप क्या करेगा? सर पूछेगा ना. आप बिल्डिंग में जाते हो, बंदा नहीं में तो वॉचमैन पूछते हो ना, सर शिफ्ट हुआ है कहीं पे, नॉर्मल थिंग.
Registration also, na? They will ask that.
File a representation. File a representation. Sir, understand something, there needs to be some permanency. हम अपना convenience देख रहे हैं. How do they get to hold you tomorrow if you are untraceable, if you have defaulted on payment of taxes? Then we the people will allege, अरे मालिया से भागने दे दिया इसको भी, क्यों दिया रजिस्ट्रेशन इसको? They are not de-encouraging registration, they are de-encouraging ease of doing business.
With GST, it's also happening with RERA.
Everywhere, sir, everywhere.
How easy is the RERA?
So your ease of doing business is another form of अच्छे दिन आएंगे, आएंगे, आएंगे. होगा, ease होगा, कभी ना कभी होगा. क्लाइंट आपको फीस देता है, उसको करने का तो ले लो. Is there a change in the particulars of your address? No. Address change नहीं हुआ है ना आपका. Change address करना है मुझे पोर्टल पे. मैं कल आज क्लीन शेव था, कल थोड़ा ऐसा स्ट्रगल रखने लग गया तो मुझे फोटो अपडेट नहीं करना सर. आदमी वही हूँ मैं, जगह वही है. वो पैन कार्ड पे जो लगा वो भी कोई दिया ही है. पैन कार्ड पे आदमी अलग दिखता है, बोला मैं ही हूँ, आके देख लो. Yes. You don't know? वो क्यों लिखा? आओ चाय पीएंगे साथ में. नहीं भेजना तो मत को, लिख दो दिस इज माय रिसेंट फोटो. लाइव फोटो कैप्चर करो सर, डोंट अपलोड अ फोटोग्राफ. Use your webcam to capture live photo and reply. This has been captured. You're using the live photo feature on the GST network portal, so there is no chance. Use it. कोई तकलीफ नहीं है सर. चलो. Next, coming to the concept of e-invoicing. Two changes on this front. One, effective 1st August, turnover up to 5 CR, more than 5 CR, you need to generate e-invoicing. Additionally, entities having turnover more than 100 crores are required to report the e-invoice on the portal within 7 days of the invoice date. 8th day, the portal will not allow. Below 100 crores, you can report any point of time. The portal allows you. There is no legal deadline as such given. So there is no legal validity of that 7-day clause also, but practically is going to be implemented. This turnover of 5 crores or 100 crores is to be taken right from 17-18 till today in any financial year. If you're crossing those limits, it's applicable. Okay. Yes.
Very different type of professionals. We make the bills. We upload to the GST network and we pay the tax. But my payment is not comes, I don't do the cash basis. I'm just being, there is mismatch difference. My GST turnover going more than 5 crore. Actually, for tax purpose, for the income tax less than 5 crore. Then what happens? Then I'm supposed to do it invoicing or no?
Yes, you're supposed to. So if your turnover is exceeding 5 crores, क्या तकलीफ है? मैं करके देता सर. सर स्टिल वो तो इनवॉइसिंग हो या ना हो तो मनी तो जाएगा ना पॉकेट से. जीएसटी मतलब रिपोर्ट कर ही दो. इनफैक्ट द गवर्नमेंट विल टेल कि आप इनवॉइस रिपोर्ट जीएसटी मतलब आपका ऑटो फिल करके दे रहे हैं. आपको खर्चा करने की जरूरत नहीं, उस पर टाइम डालने की जरूरत नहीं है. बस आधा चीज तो ऑटो फिल हो गया सर. अब यस
Someone who had 30 bills and then he has turnover dropped to 70 lakhs.
pan India turnover
Yeah,
in any of the financially exceeding 5 crores, he is required.
Now, in future, if he is also not going to cross 1 crore, can he apply that? Since I'm not.
That
able to do-
pan is now under e-invoicing. आ गया सर. बाकी से ज्यादा टेंशन मत लो. ये 5 crores will be brought down to 1 CR also one day, next 2 years.
आने वाला है.
आपका मेरा सबका आने वाला है सर. Unless until the law is amended, the position today is that once it's applicable to you, lifetime. 24 is difficult. 24 could be like maybe 2 CR. 1 CR या उसके नीचे भी डाल सकते थे इसको. But depends which government comes.
So this e-invoicing is little difficult for exporters because what happens is they have to submit their own Excel invoice and then shipping bill, and then sometimes there are lags. It necessarily doesn't get uploaded within those 7 days. So if there is a 100% export organization, still if the e-invoices is done after like 15 days or 20 days, there is a non-compliance. But then ultimately it is exports. Like there was no tax actually because we are doing under
Who said sir? There was no tax.
LUT का पूरा खेल है सर.
क्या खेल है बताओ सर.
LUT कर रहे हैं तो वैसे ही मैं refund application वो सब file कर ही रहा हूँ.
So,
And those refunds
so
are also
is it tax exempt?
not tax exempt. No, we are filing.
LUT conditions we are still not satisfying. It's a taxable export then.
Yeah.
It's a taxable thing. They have given a conditional benefit. Now,
Understand.
coming to your issue, what's the problem uploading the e-invoice? I understand the export will go through, the shipping will be generated on the next day, the EGM will be later on, thereafter. What's your trouble?
Trouble is that during audit they pinpointed this, and I gave them a draft कि मेरे को refund भी आता है every month, and those officers never objected. Primarily, first time everything was checked by that officer also before giving me refund. He also went through all my invoices, all my inputs.
क्या तकलीफ है इसमें? मतलब आपको e-invoicing में तकलीफ आ रही है, क्या बोल रहे हो?
It doesn't necessarily get uploaded in 7 days.
Why?
I tell you, sir, time that's what happens. I have also done this. Exporters. Now, these exporters have to send the goods for evaluation.
ठीक
And
है.
at that evaluation, customs authorities, sometimes there are issues. Sometimes there are quality issues. The goods come back and go, especially in case of jewelry exporters. So that 7 days में वो invoice change भी हो जाता. Suppose you got $10,000, you can put $10,500.
ठीक है.
तो आपने 10,000 अपलोड कर दिया, फिर आप बोलोगे कि now it is 10,500.
Absolutely sir, no problem.
Will the department accept it?
Why?
इसमें कुछ इसमें ये है.
करने दो ना सर, बताता हूँ ना आपको. आपको 10,000 का e-invoice बनाना है, 10,000 का EV बनाओगे डॉलर्स का, उसका
Yes.
बना दिया. आपका वैल्यू चेंज हो गया. Within 24 hours you can cancel an e-invoice. Beyond 24 hours you cannot cancel. You will be issuing a credit note. यार सर मालूम है 21st का नहीं होगा इसलिए बोल दिया फटाफट। वो 21st में इवैल्यूएशन हो ही जाता था, अपलोड ही कर देते ना सर इनवॉइस, पता है आपका 21st के बाद इवैल्यूएशन होगा, यू विल बी इशूइंग क्रेडिट नोट, जनरेटिंग अ फ्रेश इनवॉइस, दैट्स व्हाट इज द प्रोसीजर। काम बढ़ गया है बट ये है। Sir, we want to find a minimum compliance thing, and that's thought is not wrong. आज यहाँ पर बेसिकली मेरे ऑफिस से कस्टम्स में जा रहे हैं इवैल्यूएशन के लिए, तो उसके लिए भी इनका क्लैरिफिकेशन अगर आज या डिलीवरी चालान पे चलेगा, इनवॉइस अब बाद में बनो, एक बार वैल्यूएशन हो जाए तो कोई तकलीफ ही नहीं है सर। लेकिन जब ज्यादा माल मूवमेंट में है तब वो बोल देगा ई वे बिल डिलीवरी चालान पे कैसे हो रहा है, इनवॉइस पे होना चाहिए, तो कस्टम्स में ज्यादा एक्सपोर्ट के लिए तो उसका क्लैरिफिकेशन आए। This is where the industry, the association need to represent that this is the practical issue. Obviously, goods will move with a cover of invoice ultimately for export, but for this interim period, please issue a clarification that the goods can move under cover of a delivery challan to the customs location for evaluation, and thereafter, after the evaluation is done, when the goods are finally packed, that is when I'll issue the invoice on that particular day. We need to represent. हम जाके बोले सर 7 दिन मत दो हमको, 15 दिन तो नहीं होगा, उनको पता तकलीफ क्या है और प्रैक्टिकली वो क्या सोल्यूशन दे सकते हैं।
Even the customs is not accept. I mean, customs has also not really asked for e-invoicing. They are taking just those normally prepared word file bills. And
सर ई-इनवॉइस सिर्फ 2 ही जन मांगते हैं सर, एक नाके पे बंदा बैठा हुआ ऑफिसर, दूसरा घर में आया हुआ, 2 के अलावा तीसरे कोई मतलब नहीं इनवॉइस सर। Sir, threshold limit originally at 100 CR, 50 CR, 20 CR, 10 CR, 5 CR. This has been made applicable in any financial year. When it was implemented for 100 CR, still from financial 17-18, if you've crossed 100 CR, e-invoice are applicable to you. From that date till today, in any financial year, if you have crossed, not total, every year, in any of the years, if you crossed, most likely pre-COVID people have crossed, post-COVID they are struggling. That's the reality. Yes. There was a client of mine who was having this issue. I think 1920 he crossed around 20-25 CR, and immediately जब ये चालू हुआ 20 CR का, बोलते हैं यार सुमित अभी तो 2 करोड़ का बिजनेस नहीं बचा है, मुश्किल से 2-3 करोड़ हो रहा है। मतलब सर डोंट वरी, आपको 6-8 महीने का फर्क पड़ा है, बट दिस इज गोइंग टू बी इंप्लीमेंटेड सूनर और लेटर, इतना ही फर्क है। बोलते आज तो बिजनेस नहीं, बिजनेस नहीं तो इनवॉइस जनरेट नहीं करना है, क्यों टेंशन ले रहे हो? When there is no business, no invoice. E-invoice by default necessary, e-way bill by default necessary, both are independent of each other. Though e-invoice is applicable to you, a normal tax invoice is invalid. ई-वे बिल तो नॉर्मल जो होता है उसके साथ एक वैलिड टैक्स इनवॉइस चाहिए। अगर आपको ई इनवॉइस एप्लीकेबल नहीं है तो नॉर्मल इनवॉइस के सिस्टम से ई इनवॉइस एप्लीकेबल तो ई इनवॉइस ही चाहिए। आपके सिस्टम का इशू क्या है, इनवॉइस वैलिड नहीं है। As on the date of generating your invoice, जो आपका बैंक का रेट है उस पर आप कन्वर्ट करते हो, उसके बाद आपका शिपिंग बिल ईजीएम कुछ भी हो सकता, कस्टम्स ने अपना खुद का रेट फोर्टनाइटली नोटिफाई किया हुआ है। जिस दिन एक्चुअल एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा है एक्चुअल रेट कुछ और होगा, कस्टम्स ने प्रिस्क्राइब किया अलग रेट है, उसकी बेसिस पे आपका बिल ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट बनने वाला है। दोनों में से जो लोअर होगा डिपार्टमेंट उसके बेसिस पे आपको रिफंड देने वाला है। करेंसी फ्लक्चुएशन, आपने एक्सपोर्ट किया एक्स रेट पे, शिपिंग बिल वाई रेट पे, पेमेंट आया जेड रेट पे, तीनों अलग अलग होगी सर। So that is, I think you're talking about the merchant exports. Deemed export, yes. So whosoever is actually exporting उसको applicable है। अगर मेरा टर्नओवर 5 CR ऊपर जाए तो मुझे तो वैसे भी करना है, एजेंट को दे रहा तो Okay. Small update. Goods transport agencies normally required to file one annexure 5 before 15th March if they are wanting to collect tax from the customers and they themselves want to pay the taxes under forward charge mechanism instead of going under charge. For financial year 23-24, this has been extended up to 31st of पोर्टल पे आप फाइल कर सकते हैं अगर फाइल नहीं किया है तो.
Seriously interested in going for forward.
Yes, lot of GTS.
Reason?
Vehicles का इनपुट टैक्स रेट मिलता है सर. More so, there are customers who are wanting to work with the GTA जो forward charge में है. I don't want the trouble of reverse charge. Credit note ये हुआ, वो हुआ, ऐसा हुआ, वैसा हुआ नहीं चाहिए हमको सर. Forward charge में कवर तो बोलो. ऐसे GST तकलीफें कम है जो रिवर्स चार्ज भरूं मैं. A lot of people on that front. Few things on the amnesty and the GST. One, GST-4 by composition taxpayers. पहले का अगर कुछ रह गया है up to 21-22. Normally the late fees used to be high. They have reduced the late fee to 500 rupee. But the returns have to be filed between 1st April 23 to 30th June 23. The revocation of cancelled GST numbers. If your order for cancellation of registration number has been passed on or before 31st December 22, effective date नहीं, order का date बोल रहा हूँ. Okay, not the effective date. Effective date retrospect बहुत पुराना होता है, सब कुछ होता है. The order date. So if the order is passed on or before 31st December 22, if you are not already applied, you can apply for the revocation. This is not a matter of birthright revocation. You will have to justify why the registration was cancelled, kya galti thi, how we are rectifying all those mistakes. Okay. You have to assure the officer that pending returns were filed up to the date of cancellation, beyond which I am ready and willing to pay my taxes. Central officers will allow this revocation application based आपने returns pending file कर दिए है. State officers will ask for the tax liability statement from your cancellation date till date. The tax चालान या आपने tax deposit कर दिया cash ledger में from cancellation date till date, उसका interest late fee भी जमा कर दिया है, उसके बाद allow करेंगे. Absolutely, but you have to pay tax now. You are not allowed to issue GST invoice. You are not allowed to charge taxes. The government didn't stop you from paying taxes. सर मैं तो आज भी कलेक्ट नहीं करता, पे क्यों करूं? नंबर है कैंसिल हो गया है आपके नॉन कंप्लायंस की वजह से. नंबर है वो कैंसिल किया गया आपके नॉन कंप्लायंस की वजह से. सुबह सुबह उठ के ऑफिसर को ऐसे मशीन से भी चल यार इसको कैंसिल कर देता हूं, ऐसा नहीं है. वो कैंसिलेशन के पहले नोटिस भी दी गई है जिसके बेसिस पे इफ यू हैड फाइल्ड ऑन द पेंडिंग रिटर्न्स द प्रोसीडिंग्स इज डीम्ड टू बी विथड्रॉन. बट हमने वो भी फाइल नहीं किया, हमने अपना रिप्लाई भी नहीं दिया, हमने एक्सटेंशन भी नहीं मांगा, सर को जाके रिक्वेस्ट भी नहीं किया है. थिंक 50% of cases the taxpayers are at default. बाकी 50% genuine होता है. ये कुछ गलती ना होने बावजूद भी तकलीफ हुई है. बढ़ाएंगे. Absolutely. ITC मिल सकता है if your vendors are revising the returns from B2C to B2B. The vendors can revise the returns ना. 22-23 का लेट से है, 21-22 का कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला आपको ITC. 22-23 एंड 23-24 ये मिल सकता है आपको. वेंडर्स को बोलो रिवाइज कर दे रिटर्न्स, जीएसटी वन अमेंड करे, B2C से B2B में डाल सकते हैं. Normally that's a practice that we do for any clients that come in for consultations and all these things. अगले महीने 11 तारीख को फाइल करने जाने नंबर कैंसिल दिखा देगा. Call them up. Is the alternate GST number so bill फिर revise करना क्या है? Otherwise we'll file in B2C. Normally that is what we do, but because we have less number of invoices, people who have got huge numbers, they really can't go about calling up each and every one. So based on requests that comes into play, we can amend it.
तो सर वो पेंडिंग रिटर्न को भरने के बाद ही दे रहे हैं, ओपन कर रहे हैं या
आपका कैंसलेशन डेट जब है, आपका इफेक्टिव कैंसलेशन डेट, वहां तक का तो सब आपको फाइल करना ही है, करना ही है, उसके बिना एप्लीकेशन ही नहीं एक्सेप्ट होगा आपका।
इफेक्टिव डेट?
हाँ, इफेक्टिव डेट के बाद आज तक का स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट इज इंसिस्टिंग कि उसका भी टैक्स लाओ, पहले स्टेटमेंट लाओ, टैक्स भरो, उसके बाद हम चालू करेंगे। और एक तरह से अच्छा है सर, उसका एक अच्छा रीजन है। आज सेंटर से मैंने सर 1 महीने पहले इस स्कीम का करवा लिया है, 4 दिन बाद उसका 1 महीना खत्म होने वाला है, और उसका अभी भी 1.5 साल का रिटर्न पेंडिंग है, बोलता फंड नहीं है। नंबर तो चालू हो गया है सर, बात करो उनसे, बात करो, मतलब बात करने कुछ नहीं, 30 दिन का टाइम है आपके पास,
ऑटो ब्लॉक हो जाएगा।
जीएसटी नेटवर्क मालिक बता, 30 दिन का टाइम है, उसके बाद प्लीज डोंट कॉल मी अप कि सर ये क्यों हो गया, क्या हो गया, यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल। मैंने बोल दिया आपको, चालू करने से पहले ही बोल दिया था। So you can again come back to the mainstream, start issuing invoices.
आपके कस्टमर मान लीजिए
चालू हो जाएगा।
Lot of your customers do not want to work with unregistered taxpayers.
सर आप जो बोल रहे हैं कि पुराने वाले को ट्रेड आप कैसे भी नहीं
ये लोग मान लीजिए कि माल
अगर सर आपने, I'll give you an example. Let's say आपने जून 22 के बाद रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किए थे, you were issuing tax invoices till December 22. आपको नोटिस आएगी जनवरी 23 में कि आपने रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया साहब पिछले 6 महीने से, आपका नंबर कैंसिल हो जाएगा, जवाब दीजिए हमको 1 महीने में। आपने 1 महीने जवाब दिया नहीं दिया जो भी हुआ, बट अल्टीमेट नंबर कैंसिल हो गया फरवरी 23 में, इफेक्टिव जून 22। कस्टमर से तो मैं चार्ज करके रखा हूँ जुलाई 22 से दिसंबर 22, इनफैक्ट जनवरी 23 भी चार्ज करके बैठा हुआ हूँ मैं, बना तो रही था, बिकॉज तब तक तो कैंसिल्ड नहीं था मेरा। जिस दिन सस्पेंड हुआ उसके बाद मैं नहीं चार्ज कर सकता हूँ, बट पहले तो रिकवर कर चुका हूँ, इनफैक्ट टू पास ऑन द क्रेडिट्स टू द कस्टमर्स, बिकॉज दे आर नाउ विथहोल्डिंग माय एंटायर इनवॉइस वैल्यू। पहले वो भरो, टू भी दिखेगा तब दूंगा, फिर आपको पेमेंट दूंगा। दिस इज वेयर यू नीड द रिवोकेशन।
सर सपोज एक आध साल पहले का है, केवल 22 का है,
मतलब सर पॉकेट में भरो, फिर पे फ्रॉम योर ओन पॉकेट। 22, 23, the customer still might be willing to reimburse that GST amount to you, because if they get it in their GST or to be there, okay. 21, 22 ना तो आपको ITC मिलेगा ना कस्टमर को मिलेगा।
64 का इशू
Number is cancelled. So for years it is cancelled. If it is banned, that same person cannot apply for a new.
You can apply, sir. No law prohibiting you.
You know,
They will issue, but after due verification, after due diligence. कि आपने ये जो कैंसिल हुआ है, आपके एप्लीकेशन पे कैंसिल हुआ था क्या, वॉलंटरी या डिपार्टमेंटल एक्शन पे हुआ था, whether that departmental action has been completed, whether you paid the applicable tax, interest, late fee, penalties, सब कुछ कर लिया क्या सर? सॉरी बोल के माफी मांग के पछता लिए क्या आप?
if not, then it will be.
Why will they issue?
what happens to registration cancelled in a particular state on same time you have another state registration which is going on and where you are paying taxes, filing returns, so that will still continue.
Yes, absolutely.
This will not affect that.
But it's not if you will move.
Invoice in the name GST, new GST in the same state again, unless until make good all the compliances.
Same state names.
तो now practically I have one, जब ये एमनेस्टी ये नहीं हुआ, फिर नहीं, मैंने अप्लाई किया था, मेरे को बोला आई हैव नॉट फाइल्ड अपील, इट्स श्योर कैंसिल, को मोड ऑफ कैंसिल, ठीक है, तब मैंने अपील फाइल किया, उसके बाद हमने का रिजेक्शन ऑर्डर पे आ गया, ये
Still apply for this revocation. Apply कर दो सर revocation scheme में.
तो अगर मैं अब नया एप्लीकेशन करवाऊं,
New registration order, new registration देता है तो ले लो सर.
ठीक, उसने तब बोला था कि रिजेक्शन ऑर्डर चाहिए, अपील में whatever रिजेक्शन ऑर्डर आना चाहिए, कि अपील का ऑर्डर चाहिए, मैंने फाइल किया, अपील मेरा रिजेक्ट हो गया।
No, there are multiple things. Cancellation order against which you have got 2 options. I can go for revocation, I can go for appeal. I can go for either of based on my wishes. Okay. Now,
इसके बाद I cannot file revocation.
90 days के बाद तो अपील भी नहीं होती है सर, उसमें सिर्फ 60 और 30 डेज का टाइम लिमिट आपके पास है.
वो
ठीक है,
ठीक है, वो उसने
अपील पेंडिंग है आपकी, ये रिजेक्ट हो गई है।
अब रिजेक्ट हो गई
हाँ।
कि अपने डिले फाइल की है, तो अब हमारे पास एक ऑर्डर है कि भाई वो
अपील रिजेक्टेड है आपका सर, दैट इज नो गुड टू यू नाउ, बट दिस cancellation orders before December 22
यस
still apply for revocation if the portal is allowing you, अभी कर देगा सर।
एमएसडी है।
उनको क्या आता है सर, ऊपर से आता है एमनेस्टी दिलेली आहे सर्वांना कॉर्पोरेट करा जरा, बस इतना इंस्ट्रक्शन आता है। एमनेस्टी कोणासाठी दिली, टॅक्स पेअर साठी नाही, तुमच्यासाठी, ती घेऊन जा थोडा। They will do, they are doing. Okay, GST 9 non-filers also, if your returns were pending, the maximum late fee has been reduced to 20,000, 10,000 each under CNS. Returns are to be filed by 30th June 23. 22-23 onwards, the late fee, instead of being on a fixed manner, it's now been staggered based on the turnover. If a turnover is below 5 crores, so and so, above 5 crores, so and so. GST at 10, lot of issues over here. Lot of people have cancelled their numbers. They never knew they had to file GST at 10. Some people who knew GST at 10 is to be filed. GST at 10 was not there on the portal. Later on, it was introduced. But since I was cancelled, why should I keep update of GST? It was not filed ultimately. Got a ASMT notices ki late fee lagegi ispe. Heavy late fee of 10,000. People were not ready to pay. They have now come out with the amnesty, 1,000 late fee. Close it off.
9 और 9C दोनों हो जाएंगे। 9 और 9C
9 के लिए सर 9C नहीं लिखा है यहाँ पर।
9C पे पेनल्टी नहीं लगती।
लगती है ना सर, 9 का एमनेस्टी लिखा है मैंने सर, 9C कहीं पे नहीं है।
एमएसडी में
25 9 late fee and penalty are two different things. Late fee under section 47 and penalty under section 125, 122, all those things, those are different. तो आप 20 करवा लो सर, लाइन खुश रहेगा, होता सब कुछ है सर। चलो, amnesty for the government themselves now, खुद के लिए amnesty 17-18. Now for financial year 17-18, there was a cutoff of I think 2.5-3 years for them to issue the orders from the annual date, 31st Jan 2020, and for some staggered states 7th Feb. वो 23 में खत्म हो रही थी, उनको उसको ऑलरेडी उन्होंने एक्सटेंड कर दिया था अप टू सितंबर 23, खुद भी ले लिया था ऑलरेडी 6-8 महीने का टाइम, अब दिसंबर तक ले आए हैं। This is where lot of industry, including our own institute, some time back used to ask only for waiver of late fee, not extension of due date. Because every extension of due date results in extension of the time limit for assessments. अब हमने मांगने बंद कर दिया सर, जिसको लेट फी लग रही वो मांगे। ऑडिट गया उससे मतलब नहीं है सर, आई वुड रादर से ऑडिट गया अच्छा है, काम वही है सर। एटलीस्ट आई हैव बीन वेरी क्लियर इन माय अप्रोच, काम वही है, देयर इज नॉट अ सिंगल चेंज इन द एंटायर फॉर्म, माय ऑफिस हैज टू डू द सेम जॉब, so my fee remains same, at least remains same, it remains same. Only benefit for me, what I know, the onus is shifted from me to the taxpayer. पहले joint onus था, उसके ऊपर exclusive आ गया है, that's all. And that was really not an audit, that was just a certification of reconciliation between audited financials and GST 9. उतना ही आप कर रहे थे सर, उतना ही कर रहे थे हम। ऑडिटेड फाइनेंशियल, अगर आप खुद ऑडिटर है तो अलग बात है, बट इफ यू आर नॉट ऑडिटर ऑफ द कंपनी, देन यू आर जस्ट certifying the reconciliation between audited financials and GST 9, and that 9 is to be prepared by company. So it's about how you are trying to position yourself. अगर आप पोजीशन का ये चला गया है, आप समझिए सर, आज टैक्स ऑडिट्स का लिमिट बढ़ा के उन्होंने 10 CR कर दिया है। आज मैं बोलूंगा सर टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट चली गई, क्लाइंट बोलेगा तो क्या काम कुछ कम है क्या? अल्टीमेट तो आप मुझे आईटी रिटर्न फाइल कर दे रहे थे, आईटी कंप्लायंस का, बस। और क्या आपको लग रहा है कुछ काम कम होता है, 1 साल फीस मत बढ़ाओ, दैट्स ऑल। इट्स अबाउट हाउ वी पोजीशन आवरसेल्व्स एज प्रोफेशनल्स। डॉक्टर को कभी वो आप जाके बोलते हो सर ऑपरेशन कर पहले तो ये देखो टेक्नोलॉजी टाइम आपको ज्यादा लगता था, अभी नई टेक्नोलॉजी आके फीस कम करो आपके ऑपरेशन की, क्यों नहीं बोलते सर? सर पहले वो बीपी थी, आप मुझे 4 गोली लिखते तब चारों का कॉम्बिनेशन आपको लिखने में टाइम कम जाता है, फीस कम करो आपकी। आपने कभी बोला डॉक्टर को? व्हाई नॉट? वी आर नॉट प्रोफेशनल्स, वी हैव टू बी लाइक प्रोफेशनल सर। तकलीफ वो है, if today we are facing the issue of non-recovery of fees from clients, this is because our own fraternity is offering services. It's among us. कोई तीसरा नहीं है ब्लेम करने के लिए सर, वो हम ही है जो है। ऑडिट में मैंडेटरी किया, आप एडवाइजर में आपका तो इंप्लीमेंट करो, सब लोग जॉइंटली इंप्लीमेंट करें तो हो जाएगा काम।
इस अमनेस्टी की वजह से 18 और 19 के वो डाले हैं डिफरेंस ऑफ ये 3D और वो जो है आईटीसी क्लेम के हो, तो उसका मतलब उसको फाइनेंशियल डिफिकल्टी की वजह से कई टाइम में आगे भरे हैं जो डेट निकल गई सितंबर वाली आईटीसी तो
आईटीसी क्लेम अगर जो रह गया है उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते सर।
दिया है रिटर्न पे और इस चेक किया है कैसे, तो वो लोग मना कर रहे हैं कि आपके टूए में नहीं आ रहा था।
टूए का इशू है,
तो आपने लेट से फाइल करी है रिटर्न, लेकिन
सर अंडरस्टैंड समथिंग, दो अलग अलग चीजें हैं। मैंने इनपुट टैक्स क्लेम ही सितंबर के कट ऑफ के बाद किया है, उसका कोई इलाज नहीं है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट बोल चुका सर,
उसको ये नहीं बोला
भारतीय को फॉलो करके आप एंड कंपनी में बोल दिया सर। गुजरात हाई कोर्ट ने दिया था फेवरेबल जजमेंट। सुप्रीम कोर्ट इन माय व्यू, इन माय पर्सपेक्टिव व्यू, court has really not dwelled into what was the question being raised, or maybe the arguments were not put forth in that manner, but what happened in the courtroom is known only to the arguing counsels and the judges. जजमेंट हम जो पढ़ते हैं सर और एक्चुअली कोर्टरूम में क्या हुआ है, दो अलग अलग कहानियां होती है, जो मैं लाइव एक्सपीरियंस कर चुका हूं सर्विस ट्राइब्यूनल में।
बुक्स में क्लेम हो गया है, टेंडर ने पेमेंट भी कर दिया है जो सप्लायर है।
बुक्स में क्लेम से नहीं होगा, बुक्स में क्लेम से नहीं होगा सर।
गया सब
एक दिन का डिले वो नहीं मान रहे सर, उनके पास ऑप्शन नहीं है सर। आप फाइट करते तो कभी ना कभी कुछ आ सकता है, होप्स है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट की नई बेंच आ गई, उनके पास कुछ डिफरेंट व्यू हुआ, यस सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक डिफरेंट बेंच डिफरेंट व्यू ले सकती है सर। सर सी अंडरस्टैंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी किस हिसाब से फंक्शन कर रहा है सर। इट्स really I don't see it as a pure judicial institution. There is a lot of political intervention over there also, जहां पर आपके मल्टीपल रिप्लिकेशंस हो सकते हैं। बहुत ये चीज आती है पिक्चर में, इंटरवेंशन बहुत होते हैं, कल चीजें अलग हो सकती है। Why do you find very good judgments from a particular high court which makes paid? गुजरात हाई कोर्ट में आप देखो बहुत अच्छा आता था, not favorable sir but well reasoned orders, not about favorable बाकी हाई कोर्ट से भी आते सब, बट वेल रीजनड ऑर्डर जो बोलते हैं वो आते थे। तो वैसे होता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है सर, डिपेंड्स ऑन ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन सर। आज हम और आप एज प्रोफेशनल के काम अलग अलग तरीके से अप्रोच करते हैं, जजेस भी वैसे ही है सर।
वो हार्ड जेन्युइन वाली कोविड में ना कब काफी लोगों के पास फंड ही नहीं था, बंदे नहीं आ रहे थे
सर। फंड नहीं था तो आपको इनपुट टैक्स क्लेम करने से किसने रोका था?
अभी तो नहीं रिटर्न फाइल भी लेट से।
रिटर्न फाइलिंग के लिए कौन सा फंड चाहिए सर? गवर्नमेंट बोलती है मेरे पोर्टल पे तो कोई फीस लगती नहीं है।
टेबल बन रहा था,
पेबल बाद में भरते सर, इनपुट टैक्स क्लेम तो कर लेते हैं, इनपुट टैक्स तो क्लेम कर लेते हैं सर। सीबी में सेल्स जीरो दिखा देते हैं आप, जितना फंड उतना दिखा देते हैं। टैक्स आगे भरने के लिए कोई गवर्नमेंट कभी नहीं रोकती आपको सर। जीवन के साथ भी जीवन के बाद भी आपको टैक्स भरने का मौका दिया जाता है।
that they are allowing, in fact, if there is a mismatch in ITC.
Mismatch they are allowing, sir. He's issued 16/4. Time limit cross हो गई है. Mismatch सब allow हो रहा है सर. State का February 22 में आ गया था. Circular 2 है. State का इधर 183 अभी आया December 22 में. तो उसका इशू नहीं है. वो इशू आपका 1920 के लिए भी इन्होंने प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे ही है. कल रात को इनके एसओपीज आ गए हैं, गाइडलाइंस फॉर स्क्रूटिनाइजिंग जीएसटी रिटर्न फॉर 1920, और आपका जो सर्कुलर 2A और 3B का जो इशू था वो आपका इस साल के लिए आगे एक्सटेंड हो जाएगा, आगे पीछे कहीं ना कहीं पे टाइम लगेगा बट होगा. बट 16/4 के लिए उन्होंने कोई स्टैंड नहीं लिया है. स्पेसिफिकली क्यों? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फेवर में दे दिया, किस्सा खत्म. क्यों बोले?
इन लोगों ने किया है सर, जैसे इनवॉइस जब 19-20
अगर कुछ आएगा सर तो पॉसिबली February 24 में आ सकता है.
वो ले लेंगे
वो डिपेंड करता है सर क्या दिखता है पोजीशन. चलिए, bit old but still may be relevant to some people. Refund to unregistered persons, specifically very predominant in the construction industry. सर आपने हमने वी हैड बुक्ड द फ्लैट 3 साल पहले, कोविड के पहले बुक किया था. कोविड में बिल्डर बाय डिफॉल्ट कर रहा था, बना नहीं रहा था, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं थे लोन भरने के लिए, फ्लैट बुकिंग कैंसिलेशन कर दी साल 2 साल बाद. जो अमाउंट the amount that we have already paid to the builder and the tax that we already paid, he has also paid to the government. After September of next year, no provision to issue credit notes. He has refunded me back my basic money, GST. I cannot do anything. सरकार ले ली थी. Especially if the time period between payment of your taxes and the claim of refund is more than 2 years, वो भी lapse कर रहे थे. So this issue was personally had a case of this back in December 2020. File the refund applications. First question, online file करो. So unregistered person के लिए आपने online facility नहीं दी है. I am willing to file. चलो online नहीं कर सकते हो, आपका refund time barred है, 2 साल से ऊपर हो गया है. तो 2 साल कहाँ से पकड़ोगे आप? नहीं हमारे section 54 में लिखा हुआ situation, date of payment of tax. तो 2 साल तक मेरा agreement ही cancel नहीं होता, refund कहाँ से file करूँ मैं? 2 साल तक झगड़ा चला सर, अपील में गए, रिप्रेजेंटेशन भेजे हैं, फाइनली दिसंबर 22 में एक क्लैरिफिकेशन आ गया, एंड दे हैव पुट फोर्थ दिस प्रोविजन नाउ दैट यस व्हाट वाज ऑलरेडी देयर इन द लॉ, नाउ वी आर गिविंग द मैकेनिज्म. लीगली आप एलिजिबल स्टार्ट से थे, आज आपको मैकेनिज्म दिया गया है दैट एज अ बायर आई कैन क्लेम द रिफंड. प्रॉब्लम वाज even after giving this circular in December 22, for a lot of time the functionality on the GST portal was not there. Even after it was made available, मालूम नहीं था कहां पर करना है. Even it took me good 1 month to find out ये कहां पर करना है. After having multiple con calls to the help desk, IceGate, CBSC बहुत जगह कर दिया, मालूम किसी को नहीं कहां पर हुआ था. One fine day ये मिल गया. So normally what we go services and registration में जाके new registration करते हैं, वहां पर नहीं है. This is under services, user services, generate user ID for unregistered person. लोकेशन अलग है इसलिए ध्यान में नहीं जाता बहुत. That's the only thing. And once you register as a normal taxpayer, ये नहीं दिखता ऑप्शन. This is where it's not known कि यहाँ पर exist करता है. So this is where you can go for it. They are asking for documentation like your agreement, cancellation deed, all those things, declaration from the builder that he has not claimed a refund. All those things you apply, it will go to the authorities. They will bring back the money, give you back the money. फाइल होता है सर, हो गया, कर दिया, फाइल हो जाता है सर. Now, 2 changes that have been proposed in budget 2023, not exactly made effective yet, but will be coming into place sometime later. I purchased goods from China, sold it to USA, बाहर का बाहर निकाल दिया, कोई तकलीफ नहीं, टैक्स तो लगता नहीं था. ऐसा हम सोचते थे 2017 से लेकर 19 तक. 19 में उन्होंने शेड्यूल 3 में इसको ट्रांजैक्शन को ऑफिशियली डाल दिया. प्रॉब्लम वाज प्री 2019 quite a few people have already paid the taxes on this transaction. So while government gave a retrospective effect to that schedule 3 entry in this budget 23, they had provided that if you have already paid the taxes, no refund will be granted to you. भर दिया तो अब नहीं मिलेगा. In my view, you could still have a good case to claim a refund. This provision of section 159(2) of the Finance Act 2023 would be ultra virus the Constitution. Why? Article 265 of the Constitution puts forth no tax can be levied or collected except by authority of law. Did they have the authority? Section 269A, which gives the Constitution power for levy and collection of GST in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Now, if you see the explanation, for the purpose of this clause, supply of goods or services or both in the course of import into the territory of India shall be deemed to be supply of goods or services or both in the course of interstate trade or commerce. किस पे लगाना है? Import पे. Import को बोला है interstate trade or वो भी section 5 of IGST Act में दिया हुआ है. What about other sales which are never imported? Does the government have the constitutional power under 269A to levy and collect such tax? अगर था तो 2019 के अमेंडमेंट के पहले साल में पहले सर्कुलर कहां से दे दिया कि नहीं लगता इस पे बिना कोई लीगल चेंज के. This is where the circular was given and now पैसा आ गया है, हजम करिए, डका मारी तो आप वापस देना नहीं हमको. आप चाहे आप उसको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी पे चैलेंज करके निकाल सकते हैं. ओके Another provision that has come into play, bonded warehouse sale, इसको भी रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव में डाल दिया, वहां पर सब चीज कर दिया. But along with doing that, what they have done, Section 17 of GST Act dealing with input tax and proportionate reversal for exempt sale and taxable sale. वहां पर एक चेंज stating that now your value of exempt supply shall not include so and so things except value of activity transaction specified in para 8A, which is your bonded warehouse sale. So exempt supply shall not include 1, 2, 3 things except bonded warehouse. Is it now exempt supply? Provision समझा है? What is exempt supply? Something it does not include this thing, but does not include में से भी कुछ हटा दिया है. So by default include. Now, before we answer that question, what is exempt supply? Supply which attracts nil rate of tax. Bonded warehouse is not nil rated. It's Schedule 3. No supply of goods, no supply of service. It's not wholly exempt from tax. Okay, and includes a non-taxable supply. No. What is a non-taxable supply? Supply of goods or services. Again, supply of goods or services which is not labeled tax under this act. Petroleum products. Supply है but taxable नहीं है. हमारे पास पावर नहीं है भी उसको टैक्स लेने का, सिर्फ इतना ही है. Schedule 3 is not an exempt supply or non-taxable supply because it is not a supply at all. Now, just read the provision again, before amendment, after amendment, but read it from the start. Value of exempt supply under subsection 2 so and so shall be as may prescribed, and it shall include value of supplies on which recipient is liable to pay under RCM, transaction in security. It shall include sale of land, sale of building before OC. Specifically include किया और उसके बाद explanation में further लिखा that it shall not include activities given in Schedule 3 except land and building. The other activities in Schedule 3 is not included. They have given explanation. What is the purpose of explanation? To clarify doubts. Now, after amendment, exempt supply shall include RCM, transaction security, sale of land, sale of building. Include में डाला है bonded warehouse sale को नहीं डाला. So include में तो नहीं है, exempt supply में नहीं है, तो अब एक्सक्लूजन से एक्सक्लूडेड है मतलब इंक्लूडेड है, क्योंकि है तो नहीं वो तो बाय डिफॉल्ट. दिस इज वेयर यू हैव लॉस्ट. A very good case to claim your input tax over here also. Now, having dealt with some few provisional legal front, we'll just come to the judicial pronouncements. Supreme Court judgment not on GST, on Karnataka VAT, but relevant to GST absolutely. Ecom Gill had certain purchases. The VAT credit was denied to them, stating that these dealers are non-existent, your purchases are bogus. What he did, he presented invoices, he presented my bank payments, check payments to the vendors. What should more I should give? Invoice hai, payment diya hai, end of story. Tribunal High Court gave a favorable ruling in favor of the taxpayer. Yes, this is permissible. Supreme Court has overruled them, stating what? There is a burden of proof under Karnataka VAT for the purpose of assessment or claim any input tax under this act. The burden of proof that any transaction of a dealer is therefore a claim of deduction of input tax is correct shall lie on the dealer. In the present case, these are the findings of the Supreme Court. In the present case, purchasing dealer have produced either the invoices or payment by checks to claim ITC. The assessing officer doubted genuineness. They have, in some cases, registration of selling dealers has been cancelled. And even the sale by the concerned dealer has been disputed or denied by the concerned dealer. हमने बेचा ही नहीं माल इसको. So now, over and above the invoice and payment, particulars of payment, the purchasing dealer has to produce further material like the name and address of the selling dealer, details of vehicle in which the goods were transported, payment of freight charges, acknowledgement of taking delivery of goods, including physical movement of goods alleged to have been purchased from concerned dealer. ये जो burden of proof है सर GST में section 155 में दिया हुआ है, where any person claims that he is eligible for input tax credit, the burden of proving such claim shall lie on such person only. Now, ये पढ़ के बहुत डाउट्स माइंड में आए सर कितना मेंटेन करेंगे, but please read the Supreme Court judgment in the context of the facts. The registration of the selling dealers were cancelled, and even the sale by the concerned dealers were disputed or denied by the dealer. सामने मना करे मैं जानता ही नहीं तुमको, तुम हो कौन. उस केस में अलाउ करने के लिए आपको ये सब चीज मांगा था. Okay. So basis this, you will be getting lot of notices under GST. You have to distinguish the facts, not the legal matrix. इस फैक्ट में दिया गया था. And despite that, it is always prudent to maintain all these details of vehicle, ये सब कब आया नहीं आया है, आपको वैसे मेंटेन करना होता है. Okay. Apart from purchase invoices, जो eBay बिल भी लेके आए, ट्रांसपोर्टर LR कॉपी लेके आए, वो भी रखो अपने साथ में. कब डिसीजन 3 बनानी पड़ जाए सर. Next case, intermediary services, again a constitutional issue. Short and sweet summary. 3 अलग-अलग judgment हो गए हैं. One judgment, I think 50-80 paragraphs given by one honorable justice. Another judgment of 100 paragraphs given by another justice, contradicting each other. Matter went to the third judge. He has given another 100 paragraph judgment. And best part, at the end of the day, जो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया तो उसके विपरीत कुछ अलग आंसर भी दिया गया है उसमें. Now, the core issue, one justice said that this section 13(8)(b) intermediary, when I am working as a commission agent for foreign principals, the government is still deeming कि जो forex में मुझे commission मिला है उस पर टैक्स लगाओ, भरो आप यहाँ पर, export नहीं है. They challenge this provision. that I am getting revenue in forex. My principal is outside India. So how is the place of consumption in India? And this provision section 13(8)(b) is unconstitutional. One judge held, yes, it is unconstitutional. Second judge held, no, it is not unconstitutional. The third judge said, this is constitutional, this is valid, but only for the purpose of levy of IGST Act. This section 13(8)(b) cannot be extended to CGST, SGST Act. Very cryptic, but what I could decipher, उस फॉरेक्स कमीशन पे CGST, SGST नहीं भरना है, IGST भरना है. There could be a possible this kind of argument also. कि लगता CGST, SGST है, but since इन्होंने बोला है that this provision cannot be applicable to CNS, there is no levy, the levy fails. There will be advocates who will be taking that view also, but frankly speaking, in my view, this is what the interpretation comes out. That you have to pay IGST, you don't have to pay CNS on the Forex Commission. It's basically by default, as soon as you are interacting with a foreign entity, foreign person, it's only IGST transaction. That is what the crux is. This is where even for foreign tourists who are coming into India purchasing certain goods, why is there a deeming fiction? IGST lagao inko. Because the government has a mechanism whereby this tourist while leaving India can claim refund of that IGST also. सर्विस के केस में भी वही होना चाहिए, फिर रिफंड मिले या ना मिले दूसरी कहानी है सर, बट टैक्स तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को जाएगा वो. It's not a revenue of the state government. That's the thing.
It means we are that the commission is taxable. You have to pay IGST.
I have been accepting that this is payable under IGST.
Services out of India and the services are consumed out of India, then
See,
also because of the judgment we have to pay the IGST. Many people are not, will not charged actually.
so basically, if we go into a bit of a background, we have 15 minutes, so I think we might be able to. This levy of GST or service tax on foreign commission for goods, I'm commissioning for goods, was introduced 1st October 2014. Up to 30th September 14, commission for services were already taxable. Goods को भी net में लेके आए थे service tax में. Representation तब भी गवर्नमेंट को, उनका जवाब एक single point पे था. Representation क्या था? Sir, wherever we are earning forex, you should be getting export benefit. ये technicalities है. Ultimately, we are getting forex for the government of India, na? Why are you not giving us the benefit of exports? Their point was that you are facilitating the import of goods into India. आप ₹2 forex कमा रहे हो, 100 तो बाहर जा रहा है. We want to discourage imports. Forex reserve बनाने हैं. मेरे ₹2 को टैक्स करने से क्या होने वाला है? But yeah. This was their concept. That ultimately the beneficiary of your services is in India, the Indian importer. Benefit तो उसी को हो रहा है, बाहर से माल आ रहा है तो. Recipient बाहर है, but benefit यहाँ पर है, तो यहाँ पर टैक्स लगाएंगे. Now come GST. There was certain section of these commission agents who went to the government back, stating, sir, मेरे केस में मेरा प्रिंसिपल आउटसाइड इंडिया, कस्टमर भी बाहर है. यहाँ तो मैं सिर्फ फॉरेक्स ला रहा हूं, अब क्या तकलीफ है? They gave an exemption. Yes, they have given exemption for commission agent for goods, where the seller of goods outside India, buyer is out there, goods do not come into India ever. It is exempted. That commission is exempted. Since they could not change the concept of exports, they give an exemption. You don't need to pay taxes because now you're ultimately only earning forex. There is no going out of forex from here. So this has been the thought process of the government, whether valid or not. This was a big question. Now, having discussed this with few arguing councils also, जिन्होंने केस represent किया है, their broad point of view is that really challenging 13(8)(b, the powers of the parliament to levy tax on the question of jurisdiction may not uphold. You challenge levy of tax of the state legislature to go beyond their borders. That is, yes, a good challenge. But to challenge the parliament, वो नहीं है शायद. इतना strong case नहीं है. इसलिए यहाँ पर ultimately आगे आपका CNS नहीं लगता है. IGST आ जाएगा.
Outside India. If, for example, I'm providing some online service. Maybe the server is of the company which is outside India. I'm just located in India. And I'm getting.
Sir, are you intermediary first case? You are actually giving services.
Basically, in my case, I'm not intermediate.
Ah.
Example. That is same के लिए commission.
The case अलग है मैम. So resolving your query, you are the online service provider resolving some technical issues with the software and all these things. The server is outside India. You have a specific provision. If the physical server is outside India, you qualify as export. Yes. Subject to forex payments and all the other conditions. Now, where do we ever find that there is an Indian exporter who is wanting to sell goods outside India and Indian agent को appoint किया madam? वो foreign agent को appoint करेगा. And उधर आप export कर रहे हो, लेकिन forex आपका ज्यादा थोड़ा उसको exemption है ना फिर. That forex commission which I'm paying to a foreign agent is not taxable. Though there is a 2 rupee commission that is flowing out of forex reserves, but 100 तो आता है. Export import are always mirror image. Simple concept. Ocean freight में जो issue इनका था CIF का, वो mirror image की वजह से था. That by some nature they were losing out on export freight, तो import freight को tax करना था इनको. Export freight benefit दिया तो import पे लगाओ. They lost. over there.
Manpower services for foreigners, Saudi Arabia, they're getting commission from the company from Saudi.
You're getting commission or you're getting the entire manpower charges?
Commission for arranging the
consultation is different, commission is different. Two different things altogether. So consultation is never given to intermediary. See, I could be hired as a screening agent where I'm giving professional service for screening the candidates. Candidate वो company लेके आ रही है, कैसे arrange कर रही है, मैं सिर्फ screening का काम कर रहा हूँ, that you are suitable for this job or not. That is what my job is. I am not making the two people meet. But if I am finding people आओ उधर भेजता हूँ लगाता हूँ, this is where your problem could come into play. It's a very thin line where you could possibly argue.
Promotional activities on behalf of a foreign country in India. Intermediary agent by that country. I'm an appointed intermediary.
So you're declaring yourself to be intermediary, then it is taxable.
Okay.
If you are telling me you are doing promotional activity, I ask you what is the promotional activity. आप बोलो मैं intermediary तो taxable. तो खुद को कभी intermediary मत बोलो. पहले क्या कर रहे हो वो बताओ. Never call yourself intermediary. What is the work that you are doing?
In promoting, holding road shows, exhibitions, seminars on behalf of them.
Is your fee dependent upon the success?
No, fixed fee.
Eligible for export benefits. As simple as that, what I can make for you. Commission agent, normal balance, how even the revenue views is that once your fee or the revenue success based customer आया order procure हुआ तो मिलेगा. That is intermediary for them. If I am being paid irrespective of the outcome, that's a professional services. Because my job is not to make two people meet successfully. My job is to make an attempt. I am promoting their brand over here. Your roadshows cases, very specifically service tax, there was an advance ruling, GoDaddy. Will specifically be covered under that. And that has been followed in GST also by a lot of other advance rulings. You will find that. Where it's not success based, you're doing back all these other things. You're not concluding the sales with the customer. You're safe. सिंपलेस्ट थिंग सर, शुरू के 3 महीने तो एक भी रुपया सेल्स नहीं आया, मुझे तो रेवेन्यू आ रहा है। किस बात का कमीशन एजेंट हो गया मैं? खर्चा करने के लिए कमीशन एजेंट हो क्या? कमाई के लिए होता ना, रेवेन्यू के लिए। रेवेन्यू नहीं है फिर भी आ रहा है, आई एम नॉट एन एजेंट। रिप्रेजेंटेटिव और एजेंट में बहुत बड़ा फर्क है। ओके, Edel, case of corporate guarantees. Lot of companies give corporate guarantees for their subsidiary. Loan financing, sir.
देना पड़ता है।
मालूम पड़ा पाने वाले हो तो मैंने केस ले लिया, शायद काम आ जाए कुछ। Service tax, the Supreme Court has held no levy of tax. Why? Because there is no consideration. Service tax, there was a mandatory requirement. Consideration चाहिए, सर्विस होनी चाहिए, 2 अलग अलग लोग होने चाहिए, कंसिडरेशन होना चाहिए। जीएसटी में इन बिटवीन रिलेटेड पर्संस, इवन विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, इट्स टैक्सेबल। गुड फॉर सर्विस टैक्स, बैड फॉर जीएसटी, because even after you make it taxable in GST, the problem becomes valuation. What is the value of that corporate guarantee? सुप्रीम कोर्ट नेवर वेंट इन दैट इशू। बोले कंसिडरेशन तो वैल्यूएशन में क्यों जाऊं मैं? आपने कंसिडरेशन दिखाया नहीं, कुछ कंसिडरेशन था, होगा तो वैल्यूएशन क्वेश्चन आएगा। दिस इज गोइंग टू बी एन इशू इन जीएसटी, कॉर्पोरेट गारंटीज। इफ यू एवर वांट टू नो जस्ट एज अ जीएसटी कंसल्टेंट, हाउ वुड आई कम टू नो कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी दिया? कंपनी बैलेंस शीट सर, कंटिंजेंट लायबिलिटीज यू विल फाइंड। As a professional, we just need to read the audit financials nicely. You'll find a lot of things that the juniors will miss. Go through each and every schedule. I really haven't done any vouching in my 5 years of GST things. I've only read the balance sheets. And उसमें से ही मिल जाते हैं. Because other things, our office is well equipped to handle all these things. But if you read the balance sheets, if you know where to look for all these things, you'll get it. Department, when they come for an audit, they want to see आपने import of service किया कि नहीं, वो एक बुक्स नहीं दिखते हैं। बैलेंस शीट लो, पेमेंट इन फॉरेक्स, एक्सपेंडिचर फॉरेक्स, अब लाओ डिटेल्स बस। एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस बोलते हो, अर्निंग इन फॉरेक्स है क्या? दैट्स ऑल। सो फर्स्ट एविडेंस वहीं पे मिल जाता है आपको बैलेंस शीट। फर्दर एविडेंस पे आप उसको लेके जाइए उसको।
इसके ऊपर GST भरते हैं क्या?
अब भरना है, भरते हैं नहीं भरते हैं is a so basically in that case it will go to open market value. Open market value in this case will be your bank guarantee, sorry, the banks, the commission that they charge for giving such guarantees, that will be the valuation that they will adopt. But if both the entities, if the entity which is giving the guarantee is raising an invoice and the receiving entity is entitled for full input tax credit, then your valuation cannot be challenged. टैक्स का क्रेडिट मिलेगा सर, इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी का नहीं मिलेगा। टैक्स रेज करो, इनवॉइस रेज करो। Are you engaged in the business, ma'am? Business नहीं है। The company is already engaged in a business and there is an ancillary activity. It's not engaged in the business of giving corporate guarantees, but they engage in business activity, and this is the ancillary activity.
And if subsidiary is giving corporate guarantee to a holding company,
Doesn't make a difference. कोई भी किसी को दे सर।
Partner in an individual capacity is giving and LLC and he is not a registered person.
You need to register. You need to register, sir. If your aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs.
The partner to the bank or a company in which he is a director or a partner. Third party guarantee.
इस तरीके से तो सारे डायरेक्टर पार्टनर।
So point is again whether the aggregate turnover of that particular partner or director exceeds 20 lakh. और उस aggregate turnover salary नहीं आती है, profit नहीं आता है। So he is guaranteeing for himself not for someone else. Individual business, sir. मेरे पैन में मैं अपने आप को गारंटी दे रहा हूँ. There is no distinct person.
He's trying to ask is probably he's doing business one provider and he's partner in another firm. And for that firm's borrowing, he's giving personal guarantee to the bank. Correct.
So he's
So
liable.
his personal
Then he's
guarantee-
already registered as a proprietor. He's already in the business. Chalo. Last case that has come into play. Online rummy खेलते हैं. Games craft giving online rummy, whether it's a game of chance or game of skill. That is what the Supreme Court says. So, what they have put forth in very short summary is that all these kind of games will involve both the things: game of chance, some skills, some chance, some skill. Now, what is important is a game of mixed chance and game of skill is gambling if substantially and preponderantly a game of chance. Substantially game of chance ज्यादा है, skill कम है. लेकिन अगर skill ज्यादा है, chance कम है, then it's a case of game of skill. To give an example, a player who is playing the IPL, it's a chance मारा 6 जाएगा नहीं जाएगा, but predominantly skill है. Me making a team on Dream 11, chance वो उसके skill पे dependent, मेरे skill पे नहीं है. प्लेयर चूज करने में भी स्किल है, बट वो स्किल कम है, चांस ज्यादा है. मैं कितना भी किया, वो खेला कैसा. टूर्नामेंट से पहले अभी कितने लोग प्लेयर्स को लगाया होगा, बाद में कुछ मिला नहीं. So that's the thing, that in every kind of these kind of games there is some chance, there is some skill. What is more substantial, what is more predominant? The predominant intention test. Okay. Online rummy sir, एड्स देखते रहते हैं, सबका आते रहता है, सब प्लेयर्स. आईपीएल देखो कल शाम को सर बहुत सारे ऐड मिल जाएंगे. वो पान वो इलायची वाला मत देखना, दूसरा वाला. That's not good for health. So all these cases they were actually funny. ट्रेन में कभी लोकल ट्रेन में गए हो फर्स्ट क्लास में सर, वहां पर लंबी चलती रहती है, ये ऑनलाइन चल रहा था. Actually putting huge stakes over there, huge numbers. So whether this now is a Schedule 3 transaction claiming an actionable claim, the online rummy, or is it excluded from Schedule 3 by virtue of being a part of lottery betting gambling? Yes, and taxable. So this 21,000 crore notice, the highest ever in GST, and dismissed by the Karnataka High Court on that front. So that is what the test important is. Environment generate करना है सर, ऐसा क्या करते हो? See, lot of cases what I have found is, look, if you see these authorities, these are, I think this was one by GCI. Lot of them, they are like, their cases are something like breakthrough, make or break. मिला तो पूरा इंडस्ट्री को लेके जाएगा, नहीं तो खत्म. It's not a jurisdictional people who find it out. They are thinking under a different tangent altogether. उनका निकल गया टैक्स तो इतना रेवेन्यू निकलेगा आप सोच नहीं सकते हो, और नहीं निकला तो मतलब वो जजमेंट पे है, वो जज के मूड पे क्या चल रहा है, नहीं चल रहा, उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है. That is how things go about with the DGCA cases. We find a lot of cases of DGCA, huge stakes, and बहुत ज़्यादा cases में आपके निकल जाते हैं, मतलब वो drop हो जाए demand. But it's a good chance that they are taking. They are putting a good case over there. They're trying on their front. So that is all from my end. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. I hope I am on time. Thank you so much. Already done. जेब में एक लैपटॉप है सर, मेरे लैपटॉप में.
We'll be distributing. And we will distribute it by Monday or Tuesday with the recording. Yeah. So it has been a wonderful session and on point, on time.
Not six.
Not six. Thank you for the very well structured presentation. To propose a formal vote of thanks, I would like to call Seema Mehta ji, our past convener and court.
Thank you, Sumit, for a wonderful session. The session was really really nice, and you explained it. In manner. The session was really very informative. You answered all the queries raised by the members. Thanks a lot. I request all the members to carry a wide. It was very nice.
Thank you so much.
You like the presentation?
One more announcement for tomorrow. We have a meeting at Koinu. It is on social standards, ESG, the first session. Second session is on charitable trust, latest amendments. To join us morning tomorrow.
I will share your mobile number.
I think उनके presentation
I need to discuss with you on this manpower. The case for cover. Discuss with you personally once.
Yes.
मैं कार्ड
को दिलों से काट देंगे भी